Hey there, kiddos. Lesson 4.7, multiplying decimals. Today we're going to analyze shift patterns together. So your I can statement, I can use shift patterns when multiplying decimal numbers. Go ahead and write that down. We're going to get started. All right, so what is a shift pattern? A shift pattern is when the decimal point or the digits in a number shift or move when you multiply them. And you're going to get to choose what way makes the most sense for you. It's either going to be to the left or the right, depending on whether or not you're multiplying by a decimal or a whole number. Here's what you need to remember. As we switch place values, like if I start at the hundredths and move from the right side to the left, each one is 10 times larger than the place value before it. Conversely, if we go from the left to the right, each place value becomes 10 times smaller than the one to the left of it. Essentially there you're dividing by 10. So let's see this in action. We've got 63 times 10. So we're going to take 63 and we're going to put a decimal at the end of the number because we can put a decimal at the end of any whole number and it doesn't change its value. This time I'm going to start by shifting the number to the right in order for me to insert the 0. So I'm going to do that. 63 times 10 is 630. Now, in the second example, I'm going to take my decimal point and I'm going to shift it to the right and I'm going to put the 0 in there. Now you could also think about, we've been doing these jumps here where we put the decimal point and put an arc underneath this. You can certainly use that here if that makes more sense to you. You'll see that arc and you'll go, oh yeah, I got to put a 0 in there. Okay. Now, we moved one place. We either shifted the number to the left one spot or we shifted the decimal to the right one spot. We're going to do the same thing here when we look at 100, except this time we're going to move it 2 spots because we're multiplying by 100. So I'm going to take my decimal, I'm going to shift the number 2 places to the left, or I can shift the decimal 2 places to the right and put my zeros in there, and that's what that's going to tell you below there. Last one here, when I multiply by 1,000, I'm going to shift my decimal point. Guess how many places? 3. Okay, so I'm going to shift my number 3 places to the left, or my decimal point 3 places to the right. Okay, and again, you can use the arcs that we talked about. I could use my jumps underneath here and go 1, 2, 3 spots. You have to use what makes sense to you. Now, my suggestion here is just pick one that makes the most sense to you and run with it. Okay, now, so you can see again, that's exactly what I just told you. You're moving it 3 places. Now, here's what gets a little interesting. Now we're going to multiply by decimals, which means our numbers are going to get smaller because we're taking a part of them. Okay, think about it fractional. Okay, taking a piece of it, I'm not taking all of it. So I'm going to take my decimal point. This time, everything gets flipped the other direction. Okay, so now I'm going to shift my whole number 1 place to the right across my decimal point, giving me 6 3/10. Or I can take my decimal and move it 1 place to the left this time. So those have flipped now. But what you got to remember is, if I took my original, took 6 3/10 and multiplied that by 10, that would give me back my original number. It would be the opposite of timesing by 1/10. Okay, now, just went over that with you. Let's take a look at the next one. So if I multiply by 100th, guess what's going to happen to my number this time? Now it's going to shift 2 places to the right if I'm moving the number, or I'm going to take the decimal point and I'm going to move it 2 places to the left. Just like that. Okay? Let's look at the last one. If I look at multiplying by 1,000th, guess how many places? Yep, still 3. Okay, so I'm going to take my decimal number. I'm going to slide the number 3 places over. Got to keep that space in there, so I'm going to put a 0 in there to fill that to make it 63 thousandths. Or I'm going to move my decimal point, and I'm going to do the same thing. Again, it doesn't matter. You got to pick which one works for you. And you can think about this like we did with the last video where you're multiplying by a decimal. You could do 63 times 1 and just move that decimal place 3 spots because that's how many come afterwards. Same principle applies here. I just want you to notice the shift patterns, the way the numbers shift depending on what you're multiplying. Okay? So, here are your practice problems. Go ahead and solve these. In addition to that, here's your guiding question. Do you prefer to shift the decimal point itself, or the number itself, and just be prepared to discuss which makes more sense to you when we get in class. Okay? I'd also like you to create a problem of your own for you to solve, or for your classmates to solve. All right? And we'll see you soon.